Hello and welcome to the Dublin Arsenal preview show. I'm your host, Jonathan Giles. On this week's show, I'm joined by regular guest Eamon Donnelly and by Leicester City fan Tom Gray to preview our Premier League clash this Saturday, September the 28th at 3 p.m. live on Premier Sports 1. And remember to check out the Foundering Fullback in Finsbury Park for all Arsenal matches. So sit back and enjoy the show. As I said in my intro, I'm joined by regular guest. He was off for last week, but he's back this week. Eamon Donnelly, how are you, pal?
Evening, Jonathan. Evening, Tom. I'm doing a bit of Italian chicken tonight. Chicken Maldini. It says use his left leg. I opened the packet, didn't know whether it was left or his right. How are you doing? We're all good. Looking forward to any game you can get in before more bloody international breaks is good news. You know what I mean? So, all good.
Great to have you back, Eamon, after your little brief exit last week. Eamon was busy, but I'm grateful to have Tom Gray, an avid Leicester City fan. How are you, Tom?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah. Can't fault the way we started, but maybe not this week.
I'd like to thank Tom's mum, Yvonne, who I worked with during a long period in Pennies and Blanche. So I'd like to thank Yvonne for asking you, Tom. So big shout out to Yvonne as well. I know she's an avid Leicester fan as Tom. I'd like to start off, I suppose, why Leicester City, Tom?
Yeah, well, born and bred Leicester. My mum dragged me over to Dublin when I was about 12 years old and took me away from my weekly routine of going to Filbert Street every weekend. See, so now born and bred Leicester, still a Leicester fan, unfortunately. Although times are tough at the moment, but yeah, still a Leicester fan, born and bred in Leicester. So that's where we all started. And I know I briefly said to you earlier that my mother, if you'd had my mother on now, she would have had 1,000,001 words to say, and you'd have never got it off this call. So. You're lucky you've only got me and not the mother anyway.
I know, it's great to have you on, Tom.
What we didn't tell you, Tom, was that the away fan always sings us out on the show, so you might give us a bit of Ronnie Drill there at the end. What?
I've got a bit of a sore throat at the moment.
I'm sure Eamon will sort you out with an old beer Moretti to clear the voice.
That is Brad. Yeah. Anyway, stop.
Yeah, no, it's great to have Tom on. We know how wonderful the new stadium, the Walker Stadium, is, Tom. But what was it like seeing matches at Filbert Street? Because that was really kind of like a hybrid. The fans were very close to the pitch, weren't they? From them, had you?
Yeah, very intimate stadium. Kind of, you're on top of the pitch most of the time. It's great. I was lucky enough. I was only a youngster going there, and one of my ma's friends was a wheelchair lady, and she used to bring me. And the way we used to go in is they'd bring us around the back, and then I'd walk in with herself, and they'd wheel you in front of the goal and everything, and the balls, you'd be walking in front of the goal, and the balls would be getting booted at you as well as you're walking past in the wheelchair and all that. And the wheelchair, they don't do it anymore in grounds, but not too many grounds. But the wheelchair area of the stadium was like directly at the front where the corner flag is as well.
Yeah.
So all the players come barging in on top of you and everything like that, corners coming in. You can see why you don't put them there anymore, most of the wheelchair areas are a bit far up now, but no, it was good. Yeah, I loved going down to Filbert Street, loved it. It was a crazy old stadium, there used to be a big tower behind one of the smaller stands, and you'd have nearly 20 to 50 people standing on this big huge tower. No barrier around the top of the tower or anything like that. Just a load of lads used to stand on top of it every game. Didn't pay in. But you never be able to get.
Tom, can I ask you? Because I've been at the Walker Stadium a few times, and it's not a bad little walk from the town down by the kind of the park there and stuff. But was
Yeah,
Filbert
yeah.
Street in the city, in the city centre?
It was literally 100 yards over the other side of the water there. Literally,
Oh, okay,
there's no difference. Like there's no difference in where there was. Like even
okay.
all the old pubs that people were drinking before the game, they're still standing. Everybody goes to the same area still, which is kind of.
I can speak on behalf of any gunner. Leicester away is a great trip. I've had some really good ones, and yeah, it's good that I'm back in the Premier League. It's a great trip.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I always remember one game at Filbert Street. I don't know if it's good for you. The 3-3 draw back in 98, 99, 97, 98, Dennis Bergkamp. That goal. I think Steve Walsh may have got the equaliser. I think he did. Yeah.
Right there, yeah. Walsh, yeah.
He used to live
up the road from me, out Steve Walsh. He did when we lived in England. Yeah. He used to live up the road. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's actually where I used to live. Where I used to live now, literally 100 meters up the road, is where they built the new the training camp there. So yeah, in Seagrave, it's literally where we used to live, and that's where all these high tech, the high tech training academies are these days. So yeah, a lot of players around the area. My brother only still lives around the area. Bumps into all the players all the time, which is good. He gives them a bit of an air bashing sometimes. He does. So.
That's great though. It's even better when you live near the ground, isn't it? Yeah, it's
yeah.
You miss the old stadiums like Highbury and Filbert Street. As great as the new arenas are. Filbert Street and Highbury. It was just something. It was more homely, wasn't it? Fans just were closer. It's just I just don't get that feel in the modern state. Just probably too spaced out. But look, I suppose
I think it comes with the ownership and stuff, and I think the spread internationally now. I think the game has got bigger within the last 10, 15 years. Get bigger and bigger, and obviously you have to kind of vacate these international fans as well. And don't get me, it's tough getting tickets for I've been going to Leicester for my whole life, and since I moved over here and I don't go regularly enough, it's still very hard to get tickets. Now, lucky I have good friends over there that have been season ticket holders since they were kids, and they'll always fix me up and stuff like that. But it is very difficult to get tickets, and you hear it all the time. People crying having tickets to Freeman United games and Arsenal games, all the big clubs, and they're not getting cheaper either. They're getting more and more expensive, So the grounds are getting bigger, and they are. I don't know. I don't think the atmosphere is being lost. It definitely hasn't lost the field. I mean, at the Walkers anyway. They always get behind the team, whether we're winning or losing, which is good.
Yeah.
But you do see it a lot when teams aren't doing great and they're down the bottom of the league. People don't show up and they don't want to see them. So, but we've always been lucky in that the fans have always got behind the club, whether we're winning or losing.
Yeah, many great players down the Leicester City jersey, that's for sure. Stan Collymore, Muzzy Isis, Emil Heskey, to name a few. It's been a good rollout, good players, and they've given many a great memory to the Premier League years as well. But it's great having you on, Tom. You had a great manager that got you up from the Championship last season, Enzo Maresca, who sadly departed to Chelsea. The Phils, that is West London's Chelsea. But Steve Cooper's been a good, a solid replacement. I think what he done with Nottingham Forest a couple of seasons back, keeping him up, was really, he'll always be in the hearts of Nottingham Forest fans. Yeah, it's a kind of down the road job. Yeah, were you happy with Steve Cooper, Tom?
To be honest, we didn't want them in there, and I've voiced for most of the fans that we didn't want Steve Cooper just because he's Forest. And now there was a big outcry, and to be honest, he is a good manager. He has, like you said, he has been around the Premier League, and he kept Forest up. And I really hope he can do that for us. It's still early days, and it's going to be a long season for us. It's going to be long. It's not going to be easy. But I think he's doing quite well at the start. That 1-1 draw against Spurs, we could have been we could have been hockeyed 5-0 in the first half. We kept in it and we managed to bag a draw.
Yeah.
So hats off, hats off to him. And yeah, it's going to be a long road. If we can keep players fit, keep Jamie Vardy fit, then yeah, I'd like to think we can definitely stay up. We have Premier League players there, and we've recruited a few good Premier League players as well. So time will tell. But at the start of the season, I wasn't very confident, and I think most people would have had us favourites to get relegated. But I think we've showed a bit of credit in the first 4 or 5 games so far. So
yeah,
I know that we could probably write off this weekend now, but
never say never, Tom. You have to believe, because us Gunners, we've had a few horrid years and we're believing now, I tell you. Just briefly, in terms of your summer signings, just going to briefly mention a few names. You signed a couple from Crystal Palace, Odds and Edward, till the end of the season. We had a good end of season with Palace under their new coach, Jordan Ayew, Oliver Skipatat, probably his level there, moving on from Spurs. Buonetti, sorry, from Brighton, Di Cordova-Reid from Fulham, and El Canis from Genk. And kind of your major outcome was a huge loss to you, I think, Kieran Dewsbury Hall.
You missed a good income in there as well, which I've been very impressed with so far at the start of this season as a goalie. We got him, not sure, I think it's Frosinone or something like that, but he was on loan at Orlando a few times, and
yeah,
he started again with Wout Faes, I think every single game this season so far, and he's only 23 years of age, and he could be, if we stay up, he could be a really good signing for us, and I don't think we'll be keeping a hold of him too long because he is young, Italian. We all know that Italian defenders are pretty solid enough, and they come with the credit over the years, don't they? Not many of them have done it in the Premier League now, but
yeah,
he does look a solid enough start for us, and with his age behind him, definitely once they can solidify that kind of centre back partnership together, he could be a great signing for us.
The loss of Dewsbury Hall, he's a big loss to you, isn't he, in the centre midfield?
Yeah.
So he's probably your star man, hands down, probably last season, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was our kind of Stevie G of the Leicester team,
Yeah.
Came through the ranks, academy player, been with us for years. Again, he's actually one of the players that my brother knows quite well, and he was devastated to be able to having to leave. Sorry. Yeah, he was devastated to be leaving the club. He didn't want to leave, but obviously the way the financial thing was working out with us, we needed to offload players, which is a horrible thing to see.
Yeah,
I was saying to you before that, these kind of players are key to any team, and you don't see it anymore because the one club kind of player is going of the new age, and it's all about money, and it's all about making the money for your club, and it's a business more than a club for some of these owners, isn't it? So yeah, no, sad to leave him, sad to see him go. He's obviously not getting his game at Chelsea either, which is sad to see as well, because I don't even think he's been on the bench. I haven't seen too much of Chelsea this year yet.
He's been on the bench a couple of times, Tom, but it's an awful waste of a guy who should be playing every minute of every week,
Yeah, so some of the signings that Chelsea made are bizarre, aren't they?
Yeah.
He was.
They call that human trafficking.
It is. And you know what? It is.
Over an 8-9 year period contract.
Yeah. Or even there or Saudi Arabia these days, isn't it? Chelsea or Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Like in terms of Edward and Ayew, they could be good players to work around the likes of Jamie Vardy, couldn't they? Because they've got pace in them, Edward and Ayew, when they get going, haven't they? They've got the ability to,
I would. You know what? I haven't seen Edward. I've seen a bit of. I'm still not convinced by Edward. I've seen glimpses of him where I thought he was great, but it was the same with Iheanacho, and he reminds me a lot of Iheanacho. And we got rid of Iheanacho far too late, and he should have gone years ago.
Yeah,
and he reminds me a lot like him, and I'm still not convinced. Ayew, he got a bit of a pace behind him. He scored a few good goals last season with Palace, what I've seen, and he's great. He's got been around the block for years, Jordan Ayew, I think. He was obviously with Swansea and stuff like that as well before Palace. Obviously Swansea went down, but he's definitely a good player and he's definitely a good addition to the team. I was a bit devastated to see Pasandaka get injured at the start of the season. He was, I think he was ready for his turn with Jamie Vardy. We all thought after the championship that Jamie Vardy was probably going to retire, but he didn't, and he stayed on for another year, and thank God he did, because Pasandaka got injured. Otherwise, we would have been struggling for a striker.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a tough one to see, and I think it was the last pre-season game Daka got injured as well, which was even tougher, because
it's a second blow.
they would have built, they would have built the team with him involved, I think.
Yeah.
But he didn't hit the ground running, Daka, as well, and I think he's a very good player. I think it was Leipzig we got him off, and he was banging in the goals for them, and he's had glimpses where I think he scored 4 goals in one game for us.
Right, yeah.
Couple of seasons, yeah. He scored
Tom, we have a player, Mikel Merino, who got injured signing the contract. He broke his shoulder.
Money well.
The arm fell off.
I'd understand if he was signing a 10-year contract. It's only for 3. The weight of responsibility when you're an Arsenal player is so much the burden.
The lead weight in that pen. Yeah.
It was your luck, what? That was your luck.
Actually, to be honest, briefly, Tom, sorry, when I was at the game in August 22, when Jesus scored that screamer, he did little lob over Danny Ward and goal. We bet he's 4-2 that day. But remember, Daka was playing that day, and I said, "God, this lad has a bit of potential about him. He's fast, he's got pace, and I think if he can work around just the finishing part, like he was, I think it was Salzburg, he was waiting down Leipzig, but he was. I think he was so unfortunate, as you said. It was literally the last pre-season match before the start of the season. Such a big loss. But I think Edward and Ayew, I think they could be very good signings for you. I really do. They've got Premier League experience, which is huge for a team coming up. Yeah.
People say you can't buy experience, so yeah, no, definitely. You need old heads or heads that have been in the game in that kind of league, and you'll see a lot of the young lads. They'll try a bit too hard, or they can fall pretty easily when it comes under pressure, and it will come under pressure for us. Like, I'm not expecting us to be a top 10 team at all, and I am expecting us to be teetering around the end of the relegation battle. Maybe not too close to it now, but I think but I think we have enough experience, and we've definitely doing Norte as well. I know you mentioned he's been great. He's been great for us at the start. He should have started against Everton for us on the weekend. Changed the game when he came on, and we dominated in the second half. But I think we need to start a bit better in games. We're a team that's been struggling at the start, and we play well in the second half. And we could just get going in the first half a little bit better, then who knows what we can do. But I think once we get that win under the belt, it gives us a bit of confidence. And yeah, the new lads. He's chopped and changed, Cooper. I think he's played Skip in the middle with Winks. He played and Diddy with Winks against Everton. And I think he's just chopping and changing certain players. I still think he's finding his feet with his first team, and obviously it's going to be a long season, so that could be another rotation kind of thing. But once he finds his feet, and once we get the new players gelling together, then I think we'll stay up anyway.
Yeah, as it stands, after 5 games, Leicester City are in 15th position with 3 points, all coming from draws. Out of your first 5 games, Tom, how pleased have you been with those performances so far in those first 5 fixtures?
Performance-wise, like I said, it's a bit in and out, where if we take the Spurs game, for instance, first half, terrible. Second half, brilliant.
Yeah. You can't get a more honest answer.
again, the Everton game was the same. First half, terrible. Second half, brilliant. The Villa game was a bit. We were shy in the first half again, but Villa are a good side, and We would have been lucky to pick up a draw against them. They're around there, and they can be a very good side this season, Villa. So you can't take anything from them. And we also lost to Fulham. If you look at Fulham, could be a very good side this season. They beat a good side in Newcastle on the weekend. They're just gone there as well. So they're not too bad losses, and we wouldn't have been looking to pick up points. The Everton game is a bit tough because we would have expected to pick 3 points there at home, especially with the run they're on. They're terrible at the moment. So that's 2 points dropped. But the other games definitely would have accepted 3 points out of the first 5 games out of them. Obviously we're coming up against Ewes this weekend, and we'd be lucky to get a draw. If we can get a draw against us this weekend, I'd be happy. If we have four games after that, which we would be expecting at least a win or 2 wins out of them 4 games coming up after you. So it's going to be a big 4 or 5 weeks for us.
Yeah, coming to the preview of this weekend's clash against Leicester, a 3 p.m. kickoff, which is kind of rare these days for us. In our 2 previous meetings, as I mentioned, in August 22 was 4-2 at the Emirates. Jesus got his first 2 goals for the club, Xhaka and Martinelli, and Saliba with an OG, and Maddison got a nice one for you, straight through the legs of Aaron Ramsdale. And then the return fixture was to February then, 1-0, Gabriel Martinelli. I think there was a goal disallowed when Ben White was at the box with Danny Ward.
I was at that game.
You were at that game, I mean, yeah. That was right, and he hasn't stopped doing that, thankfully. He's hard little bollocks, we call him. Coming to the preview of the game, I'll come to yourself, Eamon. Where do you see the game being won and lost this weekend?
Upstairs. No, I mean that sincerely. Up here, I'll tell you why. Because the Arsenal have come through a really intense week. So they had Tottenham away, they had Atalanta away, and then last Sunday they had Man City away. So they would have been preparing for that. And there's a certain type of game that happens in the Premier League where, and looking at Steve Cooper managing, he did the very same when Forrest came, the first game of the season last season. He gave us the ball, right? And what he did was he gave us the ball and said, okay, go and break us down. And we did. We broke them down twice. But you see, what happens when teams give you the ball and we're in the Emirates Stadium, what happens is players' intensity drops, right?
Yeah.
And then if you do something sloppy or a set piece goes in, and you remember Forrest got a goal in that game, and actually we're very unlucky not to draw the game too, because as your namesake Johnny Giles would say, you can't switch it on and off. You can't. So if an opposition gives you the ball, it happened against the game that cost us the title last season, the home loss to Villa. They gave us the ball for the first half, right? And then we didn't go ahead. And then what happened was, and Cooper's likely to try this, everybody stepped up 5 or 10 meters. And then all of a sudden, if you're not in the zone, if you have it easy for 45 minutes and it doesn't go your way, and the opposition step up onto you, it's very hard just to kind of say, oh, we better get our mojo on, right? So I think, look, no disrespect to Tom or Leicester City, who are a fantastic club. We've better players than Leicester, and we play better football, and we're stronger, and, we're a very, very strong team. But in this league, it's very unforgiving. You have to get it right, and you have to get your goals when you're on top, because if you give the opposition a sniff, they can sense something. They can sense the crowd getting a little bit restless, or at least panicky, and then they go for it. So from that point of view, I think Arsenal will win the game, but only if their attitude is, well, we can't drop the intensity because it's Leicester City, it's not Manchester City. We've got to play with intensity. And I think, and funny enough, this might sound mad, we will miss Martin Odegaard more against Leicester than we did against Man City. Because Man City, who are now accusing us of playing kind of cynical football, They are the best team in the world at nullifying the most creative player on any team. And I think Odegaard would have been nullified yesterday, one way or another, right? Did I say yesterday? But I think it was Sunday. But I think if we don't have Odegaard, which we won't for the Leicester, the player who's going to play through those defensive lines in the most constructive way is him, and we don't have that much at the moment. So I think Arsenal will probably win the game. We don't concede many goals, so I'm going to say it 2-0 to the Arsenal. You know,
2-0 to the Arse.
I'm going to the game myself. So you know.
I like the way he's showing respect to Leicester City. I like that. No, I don't think this will be a high scoring game at all. I think it'd be very similar to the Nottingham Forest game, as you said, the first home game we had last season. Steve Cooper, he sets us up. He sets his teams up with a low block. He done that very well that day.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Just my last thing before Tom comes in. Like, they've conceded 8 goals in 5 games, which is not disastrous.
It's not. No, it's quite respectable. You know.
Some teams that come up can ship 5 in 1 game.
Yeah,
you know, and they haven't done that. Yeah.
That's and look, there's always the danger, Jamie. I guarantee you, Jamie Vardy will score probably Saturday because he's such annoying, so annoying to us that he's nearly always seemed to have scored for us against us.
Like you said, this game could suit Vardy. These are the kind of games that Vardy loves, you know. You will dominate the ball against us, and it'll be a total. Obviously, City dominated the ball against you and had his pinned backs against the wall for the second half. I can see it being a reverse kind of way this game. But again, like you said, if we can play the way, if you look at the way Forest played against Liverpool a few weeks, Liverpool dominated the ball. We didn't create too much, and as soon as they got a sniff of a chance, they took it, you know, and they ended up winning 1-0, and I'm hoping we can do something similar. Obviously, Liverpool are just as good as I'd say they're maybe not on the level at the moment the last few seasons, but if we can take some sort of spirit from the way Forest done it against Liverpool and take some kind of action on that, then if we can get a little sniff from Vardy over the top or in behind somehow, because I can't see us playing high line against us, you know. I don't think it's any secret there that's the way the game's going to be. So I think that's the only way we'll be able to win it, is if we can nick a 1-goal win or something like that. Like, it's going to be a low score. I think we'll defend most of the game and we'll look to try and sneak a 1-0 win. And I'll be happy to get a draw against you as well. It's going to be difficult if we concede early. I'd hate to think what it could be like, but our away games have not been so good this season. Had 2 away games.
So you're going for a draw as a prediction, Tom?
I'll take a 0-0. I'll take a 0-0.
It won't be a 0-0. Leicester don't do 0, but I'll tell you what.
I couldn't even tell you the last time we kept a clean sheet, to be fair.
I watched them against Tottenham that night, and you're right. They could have been down by a hatful, but they were very plucky in the second half. And do you know what? They played decent football in the second half, and they could have nicked that game. You know?
Yeah. As soon as we got the goal, tails are up then, you know, in the game.
Jamie had a second chance that you'd fancy him on, you know? Yeah.
And that comes to Jamie Vardy these days, you know. Every chance he gets, you just expect him to score, don't you? You know, with the way his record is, you know, as soon as you get half a chance, you just think, beat him now, you know. So it's always tough when you see him miss them, all right. But he's been great. He is going to be key for us, and it's horrible to say that we're banking on a 37-year-old to dig us out of trouble all the time, but he's been there, he's done it, and like we said, the experience of Eduard and AU, I think the experience of Jamie Vardy is second to none, and been there and he's done that. He's bagged goals for fun, you know what I mean? So let's hope, the age isn't getting on top of him now and he can still do it and carry on doing it and he's still creating the chances.
Just on that, right? So I saw Leicester the year that he's won the title, and the amount of running that Vardy was doing that season, was incredible. But you don't need that from him. What you're looking for from him is his little bit of know-how in the box and how to arrive at the right time. So, don't run his legs off and he'll still get you goals,
He's the fox in the box. He's a great
football. That's what we call him, the fox in the box.
He's a great football brain, Vardy, and he's cute. He's cute, and he backs it up with goals. He's got that kind of cheeky attitude, really a cheeky, annoying attitude, but he backs it up. He can talk the talk, So we just
need lads to get a hold of the ball and create things for us. That's been a tough part of it. And a lot of the lads are new at the moment. I love him. We have Mavadidi on the left wing, and he's very good. He was walking the championship last season. He was brilliant for us. Hasn't done it quite yet. I know he scored against Everton on the weekend.
Yeah,
just gone. But if we can get him playing, he can be equally as important as Vardy as well in terms of creativity for us. Not too sure about the other lads. I've seen Bowanoti a little bit for Brighton. He's very young. He is a bit of a loose cannon sometimes as well. Picks up a lot of yellow cards, but he puts himself about. And if he can turn defence into attack quickly, he can be a good player for us as well. It's hard to know what team Steve Cooper's going to play though at the moment. There's a couple of lads there. We have a good gel of players. We thought we were going to struggle. I think that game, the pre-season game against Lille, Daka got injured. I think we had 7 players on the bench for a pre-season friendly, which is unheard of these days. We usually have about 30 odd lads down here for pre-season, and I really worried. And then obviously with Daka getting injured, I thought we were going to struggle for a team, to be fair. So we have got a good group of lads there. It's just about getting them playing right now. And
it should be a cracking game on Saturday, no doubt. 3:00.
Yeah.
Premier Sports and the River Bar for all the Dublin Arsenal supporters club who want to watch the game. Before we wrap things up, which it's been a good preview show, Tom. Quick quiz question for you. In the 03-04 season, we played ourselves to win an unbeaten season, wrapped up with the title thanks to Patrick Vieira. Got the winning goal to win a 2-1. But who scored the goal for Leicester City that day? He was actually one of our own at one time as well.
I think I know this actually.
Yeah, he was one of our own. Manchester City will always be thankful for him. There's a clue for you.
He sounds like a Russian castration.
Yeah.
Dickov.
Paul Dickov.
Paul Dickov. Yeah. He was. We've got about Paul Dickov now. He was a good player for us, all right. Yeah. He was he came in after the old Emil Heskey days. He did.
He did.
Bit of a different player than Emil Heskey now, but no, he was really good, Paul Dickov. Yeah. Done his fair round.
Well, before we wrap up, Jonathan, I was just looking at some of the luminaries who have done both jerseys. Well, 3 of our 1971 double winning squad, John Samuels and George Armstrong, went to Leicester after Arsenal, and we got Frank McClintock from Leicester.
We want to play.
We also, and I was at a game in Easter 1987, and Leicester were struggling. They were in a relegation struggle. We were kind of near the top of the table, but we were only a young team. But we had signed Alan Smith,
But
we'd loaned them back to Leicester, right? So he was actually playing for Leicester against us having signed for us, But in typical my fashion, he went and scored. He scored, he did, yeah. It was a nice way to finish, but
Did he celebrate against us now, did he?
He didn't actually, but Smudger was
see it all the time now with these players, they're scoring against their old clubs and stuff, and they don't want to celebrate. I don't like it. I love the old. I hate to bring it up against us, but the old boy all kind of score against your old team.
He was a clown. He was a clown. But he was a clown. But when Danny Welbeck celebrated for us against Man United, that was really special, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. No, you have
But
to.
in fairness, Tom, if you think about it, if Smudger had celebrated that day, he might have lost his next bonus because he's already signed for us, like, you know.
I'd like to ask Tom briefly, what was your favourite goal from this fixture, Tom, that you can remember between the two sides? What goal stuck out for you between Leicester and Arsenal?
But there hasn't been too many on our part. You know. It's always been a troublesome fixture for us. Yeah, I couldn't pluck out too many, to be fair. The one you mentioned.
He's gone.
He's gone, is he?
Zero's gone, yeah. He's back.
Yeah, the one you mentioned in the 4-2 loss the other year with Madison was a good one. Madison was a very good player. I hate losing a good players. We've lost a lot of them in our last few seasons. But Madison was a very good player for us, and yeah, he scored some crackers over the years, and the one he caught against Hughes was quite good. Madison's goal, I'd say. But yeah, it's never been a great fixture against Hughes, and there's not been many great memories against Arsenal. And I can't see, although I'd like to say a 1-0 win again, 1-0 win or a 0-0 will do us this week. There's not been too many good results against us, and I can't remember too many either.
I suppose my favourite goal against Leicester had to be the Dennis Bergkamp one back in 97-98 where he just chipped it up.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that, but I didn't want to say a goal against
Eamon, briefly, your favourite
goal?
I
mean, the Dennis one was a Picasso. Look, the guy was
that's played around the block. Even now, you'd see it popping up.
Anybody who knows me would know that Dennis Bergkamp is the greatest player that ever played for the Arsenal, and we can argue about the rest. But I was behind the goal when Danny Welbeck scored in the 95th minute.
Yeah.
In that game, the year Leicester won the title, and in typical Arsenal fashion, we closed the gap on them that day, and then we went out and lost to Swansea on the Wednesday.
We did. You know, so, that was
just a bizarre season. That was. Everybody has, although your rival Spurs was down our throats most of the season.
Yeah, well, they came good in the 2-horse race.
Yeah, and they didn't even get second in the end. You know, that's how crazy that season was, and everybody wrote us off. I don't think we were even favourites throughout all of that season, but yet we still made the win look easy in the end, you know.
Yeah, and I look, to be honest, hands on heart, he's definitely deserved the title that season. Yeah, he gave many an armchair fan many a good memory. You know what is possible.
But you went away. I mean, without getting into a conversation about that season, you went away and absolutely clobbered Man City in their place, like, you know. So
yeah,
they were the big ones for us, you know, and that really gave us the confidence when we hammered them in their own partners, you know, which nobody was. Lucky to score against City in the last few years. The way
we actually took 6 points off you that season. We won 5-2 up at
we were the only team to use home and away.
You've always been a bogey, so you could never get anything against us.
Like we were beautiful that day, and then we just fell on our sword.
Yeah, we imploded. But no, I have to say, many a great memory that season that Leicester gave. You know, as a neutral fan as well. You know, I just love football all around, but you gave many a good memory, and you cost the bookies a lot of money as well, I say.
The old 5,000 to 1. Around
you never see that again. You never see that again. I'm
sure my ma told you, Johnny, about all the people back home that had it, you know, during that year. Yeah. Tough because I never had it. I was actually, most of the year I was actually in Australia as well, so it was tough getting to see many of the games. It was the 1 year I regret never being in the country. It was that bleeding year, you know.
Look,
but I did.
Yeah.
I was doing the old 1 o'clock in the night over there, staying up, and it's not too bad when you're having a few beers and the game comes on at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's not too bad. Just need to pace yourself on a Saturday night.
Tell us about it. We're pacing ourselves for the last 20 odd years. I am, Henry. I have to say, Tom, it's been a pleasure having you on, and I'd like to wish Leicester City all the best for the rest of the season.
Thanks,
and it'd be great. Be great to have you back on for the return leg, for the return game later on in the season. It'd be great.
100%. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd just like to say, it's been a really good previous show. I'd like to thank my guest, as always, my show regular, Eamon Donnelly. Thanks for coming on, pal.
No
and
problem.
to Leicester City fan, Tom Gray and his mum, Yvonne Gray. Thanks very much for coming on. You can catch a show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel and on Spotify and through TikTok and Facebook. But until next week's preview show, thanks for listening and watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Have a good week, lads.
See you later, guys.